You are welcome to AG 304, Statistics and Field Experimentation. Study Section 5, Measures of Dispersion. The range and the mean deviation. Introduction. The dispersion or variation is the degree to which numerical data tend to spread about an average value of the data, and it is used to observe the degree of spread or unevenness of the set of observation. Now, the most common measures of dispersion are the range, mean deviation, standard deviation, variation, and coefficient of variation. The learning outcome. When you have studied this study section, you should be able to, at the end of it, explain the measure of dispersion. 2. You should be able to discuss the coefficient of mean deviation. Now, measure of dispersion. The mean deviation of a frequency distribution is the mean of the absolute values of the deviation from the measures of central tendency, such as mean. Now, mean deviation is obtained by ignoring the signs of the deviation and simply regarding all of them as positive. Now, the mean of this absolute deviation is referred to as the mean deviation. Now, let's look at this simple example of calculating the range on the board. Now, the range of a set of numbers is given as this. That's 25 minus 2. The reason being that 25 is the highest, the one is the figure among the set of numbers given to have the highest magnitude, while 2 has the least magnitude. So, and the range is the difference between the highest and the least, and that is how we have our range to be 23. Now, mean deviation. Now, considering this given data on the board, the mean can be calculated by making use of the formula summation x all over n, where x is the value of individual observation and n is the total sum of the observations, and hence we have the addition of all these given numbers to be 622, then divided by the number of observations, which is 20, then we have 31.1. Now, calculation of mean deviation. Now, let's consider the table that we have on the board. Now, using this table, we have the marks as given as 17, 24, 24, down to the table, to the bottom of the table as shown on the board. And for the second column, we subtract our marks from the mean that was earlier calculated here. The mean that we calculated here, which was 31.1. Then, for each of the values on the first column, so we will be subtracting 31.1 away from it. For this, we have 17 minus 31.1. That's how we arrive at minus 14.1. Also, 24 minus 31.1, we have minus 7.1. And we have 44. 44 minus 31.1, we have 12.9. Now, for us to calculate our mean deviation, just like I said earlier, we will have to do away with the negative signs, and we assume that individual value here is a positive value, and from here we have another set of data, another set of numbers as we have in the next column. Now, if you observe this column very well, it's not that we have removed all the negative signs that we have there. Now, here we now obtain the summation, that is the total of all the absolute values, so which sums up to 118.2, and also we will get the number of all the observations which stand as our n, and our n here is 20. If you count this 17, if you count 1 from 17 to 44, you have 20. Then we have it here, we substitute it in this formula. Then we have our mean deviation to be 5.91. Now, calculation of mean deviation for grouped data. Don't forget, we just finished calculating the mean deviation of an ungrouped data. Now, for us to be able to do this, for us to be able to calculate the mean value, the mean deviation for this group data, we are given the data that we have on the board. Now, making use of this data that we have on the board, now we have the class interval given in the first column, the class interval on the first column, then the class mark just directly just beside the first column, that is the second column. Then we have the frequencies. Third column, we have the multiplication of the frequency by the class mark on the fourth column, and then we have the suppression of the observations away from the mean, from their mean on the fifth column. We have the absolute value on the sixth column, while we have the multiplication of the frequencies by the absolute value on the last column. Now, if we want to calculate our mean deviation, now we first of all go through all the stages, just like I explained before. And with what we have here now, we first obtain our median, our mean. Now our mean here is 30.5 using this formula, and our median is just a matter of substituting the values here. We know our summation F for we know our summation F. Then we substitute the values. That is 650 divided by 20. Then we have 30.5. Then our mean deviation here will be summation F of D. That is the frequency multiplied by the absolute values. Then all over summation F. Then we substitute it here. Then don't forget that in this case, that D is equivalent to equal to our observation minus the mean value. So don't get it confused. Now, at the end of everything, we have 5.6 to be our mean deviation. Lest I forget, there is need for us to take cognizance of the coefficient of the mean deviation, and this is often regarded or referred to as the relative dispersion. It is often expressed as a percentage. That is, it is expressed in percentage, and the formula for this purpose will be the mean deviation divided by the mean value multiplied by 100. So just like what we have now. Now our mean deviation has been calculated to be 5.6. You substitute it, and the mean has been calculated to be 30.5. Then you multiply it by 100. So at the end of everything, you have it as 18.36%. 18.36%. Now, in continuation, let's go through how you can calculate standard deviation. Now, consider the table that we have here. We have the observations on the first column, and we have the observations minus the mean value on the second, in the second column, and the square root of the observations minus the mean values on the last column. Now, our standard deviation is given by this formula on the board. That is summation, the square root of summation x minus x bar. That is the observation minus the arithmetic mean. Then you square it all over n minus 1. With what we have on the table, now we have our, don't forget I said this. I said D is the same thing as this. So what we have here. So don't be confused when you did not see D there. Now you substitute this. This is the summation of D square. So you substitute it, then our n is 20. So you have 20 minus 1. That's how we have this 19. Then you conduct the mathematical operation on it. Then we have 7.23 to be the standard deviation of this set of given marks. Now, if the data given on this table represent the whole population, then the population's standard deviation, that is how far, is given by square root of summation x minus mu all squared all over n, capital N. Now, where that alpha represents the population standard deviation, and the mu connotes the population mean, and n is the population size. Now, for group data, sample standard deviation is given by summation f into bracket d square. Don't forget I said they are the same thing. Then all over summation f minus 1. Now, this is how the standard deviation can be calculated. Now, it is worthy to note that standard deviation is the commonly used measure of dispersion of a set of observations, and it is also referred to as the root mean square deviation. Now, the name standard deviation in itself implies that it is more standard method of measuring deviations from the mean. Now, for instance, in calculating the mean deviation, now the negative sign of individual observation is ignored for convenience, and by removing the negative sign, it is not often mathematically signified, so to say. But a better method of doing it or standardizing it is by squaring this deviation so that the negative signs would be completely eliminated. And the larger the spread of these observations, the larger the standard deviation becomes. Now, calculation of standard deviation for grouped data, and by extension, the calculation of variance. Now, let's look at the table that we have on the board. It is the previous table that we have been making use of. So we have the class interval, the class mark, the frequency. We have the observation minus the mean value column. We have the square of the observation minus the mean value. Then we have the mean value. We have the observation minus the mean value, then multiplied by the frequency, that is f times d. Now, from here, we have the total observation to be 20. We have the summation of the square of d, to be 488. We have that of the frequency times d to be 916. Now it is this that we substitute into this formula. Then we have the square root of this. We have the square root of summation f into bracket x minus x bar all squared all over summation f minus 1. So that f is 20. So 20 minus 1 is 19. So that's how we have this 19. Then you perform the other mathematical operations. Then we have our standard deviation to be 6.9. Now, by extension, if you want to calculate the variance, now the variance itself of a set of data is simply the square of the standard deviation, and this variance has the same property as the standard deviation. Hence, the variance for this set of data is just the square of the standard deviation, that is variance equals to x squared, so which is equal to 6.9 squared, so which is equal to 48.21. Now, coefficient of variation. Now, the coefficient of variation is also simply called CV, and it is a relative measure of dispersion expressed as percentage. The coefficient of variation is defined as the standard deviation divided by the mean and multiplied by 100. Mathematically, it is as this, that is CV divided by CV equals to S divided by X bar multiplied by, that is X bar multiplied by 100. So where CV is the coefficient of variation, X is the standard deviation, the X bar is the mean of the distribution. Now, coefficient of variation is often used in comparing the relative dispersion of two or more sets of observations, and the group with higher coefficients is said to have a wider spread. With this, we have come to the end of study section 5, that is the measure of dispersion, specifically the range and the mean deviation. And by now, I want to believe that you should be able to explain the measure of dispersion, and also you should be able to discuss the coefficient of mean deviation. You are advised to go through this video clip once again to have a better understanding of all that have been explained in it. Thanks for listening.